Hello everyone, this side Mayank Jhunjhunwala from IIT Kanpur. So today in this session, I will discuss some limits and derivatives PYQ with you. So these PYQs are from previous year JEE-Main paper. So let's start with the questions. So let's start with the very first question. Limit of n tending to infinity, and something is given to you and they're asking the value of this thing. सो बेसिकली आपको एक लिमिट दी हुई है एंड यू नीड टू इवैल्यूएट दैट लिमिट एंड मतलब फाइनल आंसर निकालना है आपको. तो सबसे पहले तो अपन लोग इसमें मतलब इसमें ऐसे दिया हुआ है ना, ऑल्टरनेट प्लस माइनस दिए हुए हैं. सो हम क्या करेंगे, हम एडिशन वाले पार्ट को एक तरफ कर लेंगे एंड सब्ट्रैक्शन वाले पार्ट को एक तरफ कर लेंगे. सो दीज आर ऑल द addendums एंड देन आई विल टेक these subtraction part this side. So I will get something like 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to 3n. Why up to 3n? Because till plus 3n I can see here. And then minus 2 times 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus so on. Basically मैंने क्या किया, मैंने पॉजिटिव पार्ट को और नेगेटिव पार्ट को अलग अलग कर लिया. ठीक है, जैसे कि यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है, ये दिया हुआ है 1 प्लस 2 माइनस 3 प्लस 4 प्लस 5 माइनस 6. तो बेसिकली क्या हो रहा है, 3 के मल्टीपल्स में जो जो आ रहे हैं वो सारे नेगेटिव में जा रहे हैं बेसिकली. जैसे कि यहाँ पे -3 नेगेटिव में, बाकी सारे पॉजिटिव में थे. तो यहाँ पे हम क्या करेंगे, 1 + 2 में सबको ऐड कर दूंगा बेसिकली. मैं जो नेगेटिव वाले थे उसको भी मैं ऐड कर रहा हूँ, 3 4 5 6 ऐसे करके मैं कहाँ तक जाऊंगा, मैं जाऊंगा 3n तक. मतलब मैंने यही चीज लिख दिया, लेकिन मैंने सबको पॉजिटिव करके लिख दिया. लेकिन मेरे को क्वेश्चन में क्या दिया हुआ था, मेरे को क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ है कि जितने भी 3 वाले मल्टीपल्स में है वो सब नेगेटिव में आएंगे. सो 3 वाले मल्टीपल्स आर इन नेगेटिव, सो वी विल do negative, but we need to take the twice of that thing because one is already given and one because we have taken them positive. So 2 times 3 plus 6 plus 9 up to 3n. Because we have taken them positive, so to make it to equivalent to the original expression, we need to subtract it. And so for subtracting it, we subtracted it 2 times. One because it was given and one because we added them. So this is the numerator part. And then coming on to denominator, denominator is same, 2n power 4 plus 4n plus 3 minus root of n power 4 plus 5n plus 4. So this thing is one thing. Now this thing is nothing but the sum of first 3n natural numbers. So this is sum of first 3n natural numbers. तो इसमें हम लोग क्या करेंगे, सीधे सिग्मा n वाला फॉर्मूला लगा देंगे. सिग्मा n इज इक्वल टू n इंटू n प्लस 1/2 and here since n is equal to 3n, so n is equal to 3n, so 3n into 3n plus 1/2. Similarly here also 3 plus 6 plus up to 3n. So यहाँ पे मैं क्या करूँगा, यहाँ पे मैं 3 कॉमन ले लेता हूँ. So I will be getting -6 times 1 plus 2 up to n times. So basically this is -6 times summation of first n natural numbers. So -6 times n into n plus 1/2. So this is my numerator part and denominator is same. So now what we are doing is we are rationalizing this expression so that we can cater with the root part given the denominator. So just rationalize this expression. To rationalize, we need to multiply it with the positive counterpart of this expression. So just multiply by its positive counterpart, which is root of 2n4 plus 4n plus 3 plus n4 plus 5n plus 4. So they have just done this thing. They have multiplied it with 2 times n power 4 plus 4n plus 3 minus n power 4 plus 5n plus 4. Not negative, positive. Because we need to rationalize this expression, that's why. So to rationalize, we multiply and divide by the same expression. So since we have multiplied, so we need to divide it also. So 2 and 4 plus 4n plus 3 plus again the same thing, root of n power 4 plus 5n plus 4. So this is my expression. And since this is a minus b, a plus b, so we know that a minus b into a plus b is a square minus b square. So it would be a square minus b square. So 2 root 2n power 4 plus 4n plus 3 minus n power 4 plus 5n plus 4. Okay, and this 2 come from the upper side. So 3n into 3n minus 1 times this thing. And why so? Because when you will open this thing, how it will open? It will be something like 9n square plus 3n minus 6n square minus 6n. So this thing will be equal to 3n square minus 3n. So now you can take 3n common and you will be getting n minus 1. So that is written here, divide by 2, this 2, and this is the entire expression. Now you can simply see that upper side we have at max we have the power of n square which we will get from multiplying n square here. Multiplying these two n here, we will get maximum power of n equivalent to 2, but in denominator it is n power 4. So in this case, we know that when numerator power is smaller than the denominator power, so we tend to divide the entire expression by the denominator maximum power. So divide the whole expression by n power 4. So when you will do so, you will be getting 3 times when you are dividing it by n power 4. So basically, you are giving n square inside and 1 n square this side. So basically, what you are doing, you are just dealing it with, you are dividing the entire expression by n power 4. So divide it by n square. Divide this also by n square because this is an addition, so it is nothing but something upon n square type thing. This by n and this by n. So basically, you have divided the numerator by n power 4. So do the same thing in denominator also. Divided by n power 4 and divided by n power 4. Why we are doing so? Because we know that the power of numerator is lower than the power of denominator, and whenever we get such condition, we tend to divide by the number which is maximum. So here n power 4 is the maximum power which we are encountering in this expression. So we can say that we have to divide by n power 4. So when we will do so, n by n is 1, and n upon n is 1 minus 1 by n. And when I will take n square inside, it would be n power 4. So 2 plus 4 upon n cube plus 3 upon n power 4. Why n power 4? Because when we will take n square inside the root, we know we need to deal it like n power 4. Similarly, here also 1 plus 5 upon n cube plus 4 upon n power 4. So this is one thing, and then similarly with the denominator part, 2 times this thing would be or you can simplify it for first and then divide by n power 4. So on simplifying, you will be getting something like n power 4 plus 4n plus 5n would be 9n. No, plus 4n minus 5n, so it would be minus n, and minus 3 minus 4, that is equal to minus 7. Now divided by n power 4. So you will be getting something like 2 times 1 minus 1 upon n cube minus 7 upon n4. Cool. Now just put the value of n equal to infinity. So this will become 0. 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 This also and this also. So you will be only left with the remaining expression, which is 3 times root 2 plus 1, root 2 plus 1 divided by 2. So this is my final answer to this question. Cool. So 3 times root 2 plus 1 divided by 2 is my final answer. So it was a good question on evaluating limits. This is as I earlier told you, these questions are from JEE-Main previous years. So this is a good question on limits. So basically, firstly, you have to simplify the expression in the written form and then divide it by the maximum power of n so that you can cancel the remaining zeros and you will get this answer. Okay. So this was the very first question. And now let's move ahead. Question number two. The set of all values of a for which limit of x tending to a, GIF of x minus 5, this thing is known as greatest integer function, or GIF, greatest integer function. Okay, so this is greatest integer function, and for limit of x tending to a, GIF of x minus 5 minus GIF of 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. So where this denotes the greatest integer less than or equal to alpha. मतलब basically इसका मतलब क्या होता है? If you are given 2.5, then GIF will give you equal to 2. Even if you give 2.8, it is not like rounding off. You will get the integer which is behind the given number. In 2.8 also you will get 2. In minus 3.4, you will be getting minus 4. The integer which is behind the given number. In minus 3.8 also you will be getting minus 4 only. So this is the meaning of GIF, greatest integer function. And why it is so? Because in our number line, minus 4 is here and minus 3 is here. And minus 3.4, minus 3.8 would be something here. And GIF tends to give me the integer which is behind these things. So I am getting minus 4. Similarly for 2 and 3, 2.5 and 2.8 are somewhere here. So the integer behind these two numbers is 2. That's why I'm getting 2. So in integers, I will get something like a number before previous number, which is greater than the given number in negative part, but and in the positive side also, I am getting the integer which is behind the given number. So this is the meaning of greatest integer function. Then so this was GIF. Now we need to calculate the value of alpha for this thing equal to 0. So how to do this question? Firstly, there are some properties of GIF. Whenever you get something like x minus or x plus minus some integer, so that integer comes out of the bracket, and this thing can be this equal to GIF of x plus minus the given integer. So same property we can use here. I will be getting x minus 5 minus 2x minus 2. So this is just generally the property of my greatest integer function. So I am getting limit of x tending to a, GIF of x minus GIF of 2x minus 7 equal to 0. So this is my general expression. Then coming on to case वन, अब इसमें केस कौन से बनेंगे कि मैं x को जो मेरा GIF है उसको मैं कैसे ओपन करूँ बेसिकली. तो ओपन करना है GIF को तो मैं कैसे कर सकता हूँ? फॉर दैट आई नीड टू मेक केसेस. So firstly, what I'm taking is I'm taking my alpha to be between n and n plus 1 by 2 basically. So in n and n plus 1 by 2, my GIF would be equal to n. So n minus 2n. Why 2n? Because 2 times n plus half is equal to 2n plus 1. But since this is not included, so this thing will be something less than 2n plus 1, that is 2n plus 1 minus 0 minus, which means something less than 2n plus 1. So something less than 2n plus 1 would be, you can say it is like 0.999 type of thing, but 2n plus 1 से थोड़ा सा कम है. So we will be getting one integer less than 2n plus 1, that is equal to 2n. So n minus 2n minus 7 equal to 0. And why so? Because I am taking my alpha between n and n plus 1 by 2. So since x is tending to n, x is tending to alpha, so I will put the alpha, same alpha here, and GIF of that thing is n. So n minus 2n minus 7 equal to 0. From there, I am getting my value of n equal to minus 7, because this thing is minus n minus 7 equal to 0. So we can say that n is equal to minus 7. This implies my alpha lies between n and n plus 1 by 2, that is 7 minus 7 and minus 7 plus half, which is minus 6.5. But minus 6.5 not included. Cool. And second case, we can take now my a between n plus half and n plus 1. So taking between n plus half and n plus 1, again put the same thing inside this GIF. So GIF of n plus half, where my n belongs to integer. यहाँ पे n की बात हो रही है, तो n यहाँ पे integer है. So n belongs to integer, so n plus half GIF is equal to n. So, and for 2x, it would be 2 times, not n plus half, it would be n plus 1, sorry. But since n plus 1 is not included, so I can say that this thing would be equal to n. GIF of n plus 1 is equal to n plus 1, but since n plus 1 is not included, so this thing would be something less than n plus 1. It would be equal to n plus 1 minus something tending to 0. मतलब tending to 0, so minus something which is like 0.11111 ऐसे टाइप का कुछ होगा. तो n plus 1 से थोड़ा छोटा होगा basically. तो n plus 1 से smaller होगा, इसलिए I will not get n plus 1 as my answer, but n is my answer. Because as I told you, if this is my n plus 1 and this is my n, then this thing is something somewhat here. It is something less than n plus 1. So an integer less than this thing is equal to n basically. So this thing is equal to n. So one thing, and for 2x, it would be 2 times n plus 1. For calculating GIF, I always take the maximum value. So this thing will be equal to 2n plus 2 plus something less than 2n plus 2, because again n plus 1 is not the included one. It would be something like n plus 0.9999 up to infinity. So it is something like this. So it would not be 2n plus 2, but slightly less than 2n plus 2. So its GIF would be equal to minus, sorry, 2n plus 1. So from here you are getting what? You are getting n minus 2n plus 1 minus 7 equal to 0. So now you can say that this thing is equal to minus n minus 1 minus 7 equal to 0. So n is equal to minus 8. So you can see it here. N is coming out to be equal to minus 8. And as I told you that this time I am taking n plus half and n plus 1. So it would be n plus half minus 8 plus half is minus 7.5. So from minus 7.5 to minus 7. So this is my alpha. In previous case, my alpha belonged to minus 7 to minus 6.5, where minus 7 was included. So basically, initially it was minus 6.5 to minus 6.5 to minus 7. So let me write in the correct order. Minus 7 to minus 6.5. Minus 7 to minus 6.5. Here also it would be open bracket. So this thing is my alpha. And now I need to check if I am getting my answer as 0 or not. So to check that, let's put the values. So I know that this thing, if I take my alpha between minus 7.5 and minus 7, so basically I am something here, minus 7, minus 8. So I am basically from here to here in this region. So my GIF would be equal to minus 8, and 2 into 7.5 is 2 into 7.5 is somewhat closer to minus 15. So minus 15 minus 7, and minus 8 minus 7 is minus 15 only, and this thing plus 15, so I'm getting 0. And for x tending to 7.5 minus, which implies basically I'm checking for minus 8 minus 7.5 and minus 7. So I'm checking for these 2 points, 1 point here and 1 point here. So for something less than minus 7.5, I will again get minus 8, and it would be 2 into 7.5. 2 into 7.5 is again 15. But in this case, it was 15 plus something. That's why I got minus 15. But in this case, it was 15 minus something, because it is not exactly 7.5. It is something less than 7.5. So it would be something less than 15. So I will get minus 16 from here. So minus 8 minus of minus 16 minus 7. So I am getting 1. But in case of limit, we know that limit exists at some point only if RHL is equal to LHL. Only if RHL is equal to LHL. Only in this scenario, I can say that my limit exists. But in this case, we can see that my RHL is coming out to be equal to 0 and LHL is coming out to be equal to 1. So I can't equate them because these are not equal. RHL is not equal to LHL in this case, but they are 0 and 1 basically. So limit does not exist at 7.5. So I cannot take x equal to minus 7.5. So my answer would not be minus 7.5 to minus 7. It would be open bracket at this point, because I am getting an ambiguity at minus 7.5. At something less than minus 7.5, I am getting my answer equal to 1. But in the case when I am taking my x as minus 7.6, let's say, you are getting 0. So basically, your limit does not exist at minus 7.5. That's why your answer would be alpha belonging to minus 7 to minus 6.5 union minus 7.5 to 7, but both minus 7 to minus 6.5, but both not included, basically. So this was my question number 2. Okay, so I guess हम लोग यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक तो कर लेंगे, but we will not check this part because this we are not imagining in our brain. So this is a trick in this question that you need to solve for this part also. Otherwise, if you will include minus 7.5 in your answer, then it would be wrong. So basically, you need not to include minus 7.5. So your answer would be from minus 7.5 to minus 6.5, but both not included. Okay. And -7 here, why we are not checking for -7 here? Because we can see that -7 is here also and -7 is here also. So basically, this is the interval where -6.5 is not included and -7.5 is not included, but -1 is included in both the cases because -7 is here. And since alpha belongs to this region and alpha also belongs to this region, and so if you will check for alpha in the neighborhood of -7, you will get your answer correct because in something -7, some -7 plus something, this condition will hold correct. And for region -7 less than something, this region will hold correct. So -7 is there in your answer. So this is your final answer to this question. Just remember to check for -7.5 because this is an important part. So now let's move ahead. Moving on to next question. Uh, limit of t tending to 0. 1 power 1 upon sine square t plus 2 power 1 upon sine square t plus dash 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 up to n power 1 upon sine square t power sine square t. बेसिकली मेरे को ये एक एक्सप्रेशन दिया हुआ है और मुझको इस एक्सप्रेशन की वैल्यू बतानी है, ठीक है। तो अब वापस वही बात आ गई यहाँ पे भी कि मेरे को लिमिट का एक रूल पता होना चाहिए। और वो रूल क्या होता है? चाहे तो मैं उसको वैसे भी सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ या फिर इसमें तो सिंपली मेरे को एक चीज और दिख रही है कि सबसे पहले तो 1 अपॉन साइन है, 1 अपॉन साइन है, तो सबसे पहले तो इसको कॉसेक में चेंज करो। तो 1 अपॉन साइन कॉसेक होता है, तो इट इज कॉसेक स्क्वायर टी एंड एन पावर कॉसेक स्क्वायर टी हर जगह, ठीक है। अब क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं? अब मेरे को दिया हुआ ये कॉसेक स्क्वायर टी साइन स्क्वायर टी, मेरे को पता है समवेयर डाउन द लाइन की जब मैं इन दोनों को मल्टीप्लाई करूंगा देन आई विल बी गेटिंग 1। ओके, बट इन दोनों को मेरे को मल्टीप्लाई करने में मेरे को 1 मिल रहा है, तो फिर वहां से मैं अपना आंसर कुछ बना सकता हूँ बेसिकली। लेकिन मैं वहां तक जाऊँ कैसे? मैंने क्या किया, मैंने पूरे एक्सप्रेशन को एन से डिवाइड कर दिया। एन से डिवाइड करने पे ये चीज तो मेरी बन गई 1। 1 पावर समथिंग इज 1 ओनली बेसिकली, सो दिस थिंग इज माई 1। और बाकी सारे मैंने एन से डिवाइड कर दिया। अब मैंने एन से क्यों डिवाइड किया इस पूरे एक्सप्रेशन को? एन से डिवाइड किया और फिर मैंने एन से मल्टीप्लाई भी कर दिया ताकि चेंज ना आए कुछ एक्सप्रेशन में। बेसिकली मैंने एन से डिवाइड किया, एन से मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया। अब क्या हो गया इसमें? अभी इसमें मैं एक चीज देख सकता हूँ कि मेरा कॉसेक ऑफ जीरो होगा क्योंकि टी टेंडिंग टू जीरो है एंड कॉसेक जीरो इज अनडिफाइंड। वाई सो? बिकॉज sin 0 is equal to 0. So cosec 0 is undefined because cosec is 1 upon sine. So cosec 0 is undefined. So this part will equate to 1. Why so? Because it is 1 upon n times cosec square t plus dash 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 up to 1. And we know one rule of limit, that limit of something like here t tending to 0, 1 plus something tending to 0 power something tending to infinity. So this thing is equal to e to the power some limit of t tending to 0, and you will multiply these two, tending to infinity and tending to 0. So here we are getting the same thing, 1 plus something which is tending to infinity. Why? Because we have innumerable number of expressions. Cosec square t is cosec 0 is undefined. So that's why. So basically we will be getting something like e to the power limit of t tending to 0. Or you can even simplify this expression without using this theorem because it can be simplified. Let me check. Hmm. Yes, you can do this in this way also, that if you will take this bracket as something to the power sine square t. But since t is tending to 0, so you know that if t tends to 0, then sine t also tends to 0. So this thing is something like some bracket power 0. And anything power 0 is nothing but 1. And inside the bracket, it is something like 1 plus something. And 1 plus something, can't be equal to 0. So basically, inside bracket, you have some number, and some number power 0 is nothing but this thing is equal to 1. So basically, you are getting limit of t tending to 0 and into something tending to 1. So basically, your answer from here is equal to n. Okay. So your answer is finally n, because you are getting some bracket power 0, and some bracket power 0 is nothing but 1. So n into 1 is equal to n. And there is one more catch in this question. 0 power 0 is undefined. So to apply this theorem that something power 0 is 1, you need to be sure that inside bracket there is something which is not equal to 0. And inside bracket it is not equal to 0 because you are adding 1 with something. So if you will add 1 with something, that can't be equal to 0. So that's why we are taking this thing to be equal to 1. So n into something equal to 1 is n. So n is the final answer. Okay. So moving on to next one. Fx is given to you as x square sine 1 by x for x not equal to 0 and equal to 0 when x equal to 0. And now you need to tell if your function is continuous or not. And these are the four expressions which you need to check. Basically, you need to check for f and f dash. So you need to check for these two expressions, f and f dash. So how to check for them? Firstly, calculate f dash x. When you will differentiate this expression, you will be getting something like 2x into sine of 1 by x, and then x square as it is. Differentiation of sine 1 by x is cos 1 by x, and then differentiation of 1 by x is equal to minus 1 by x square. So from here, x square and x square will get cancelled, and you would be left with minus cos 1 by x. So 2x sine 1 by x minus cos of 1 by x. And this thing is the differentiation of the given expression. Okay. Then 2x sine 1 by x minus cos 1 by x is the differentiation of this function. Now you need to check for you need to check for x tending to 0. Why you need to check for x tending to 0? Because the definition of function is changing for x equal to 0 only. You can see here. So for x tending to 0, you need to check your expression. So since they are asking you about f and f dash, so limit of x tending to 0 f dash x is equal to x limit of x tending to 0 2x sin 1 by x minus cos of 1 by x. अब मेरे को पता है मैं यहाँ पे जीरो डाल दूंगा तो फिर यहाँ से तो मेरे को मिल जाएगा जीरो बिकॉज साइन ऑफ समथिंग साइन ऑफ infinity would be some value. I don't know sign of infinity is how much. It can be something between minus 1 and 1 because I know that sign bracket is between minus 1 and 1. So sign of something can't go beyond minus 1 and 1. So 0 into something is 0. So this thing is 0 minus limit of x tending to 0 cos of 1 by x, and cos of infinity is again something which is defined, but I don't know the value because again cos bracket is between minus 1 and 1, and between minus 1 and 1 I know the bracket limit, but I don't know the exact value. So that's why this thing is equal to 0 minus something which I don't know. So this does not exist because I don't know the value of this expression. So f dash x is discontinuous at x equal to 0 because I am unable to calculate the value of limit at x tending to 0 because the value of cos 1 by x is undefined at x tending to 0. I know this for sure that the value would be something between -1 and 1, but I don't know the exact value, so I can't define the limit. So cos of 1 by x is undefined at x tending to 0. That's why the limit does not exist at x tending to 0. So I can say that my function is discontinuous at x equal to 0. Okay. So one thing is clear that f dash x is discontinuous. So this expression is false, and now I need to check for the other expressions also. This is also false. Basically, A and C I have to check for. So to check for continuity, I know that I need to apply this formula. Limit of h tending to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. And in this case, my x is equal to 0, so I put my value of x equal to 0. And now I need to check for LHD and RHD. And if these both are equal, then I can say that my derivative of f exists at x equal to 0, where LHD stands for left hand derivative and RHD stands for right hand derivative. So for x less than 0, I will take h tending to 0 minus. So it is 0 minus h minus f0 upon h. And I know that 0 minus h is minus h only. F of 0 is 0 according to the question. So it is f of minus h divided by minus h. And f of minus h, from here I can say this thing is equal to h squared times sine of minus 1 by h, that is minus sine 1 by h, minus sine 1 by h. Okay, so this thing is written here, h and h cancel, and this you will be again left with 1h into something which I don't know the exact value, but I know it is between -1 and 1. But since h is tending to 0, so I can say that this thing is 0. Similarly, for RHD, it would be 0 plus h. It was minus h because here I took h tending to 0 plus, and when I included a minus sign, so this automatically changed to h tending to 0 minus. So same I did here, h tending to 0 plus, but here it would be plus only because I am checking for RHD. So for RHD, only this minus would become positive. Again, you will get 0 only because you are multiplying something by 0. So either it is minus or it is plus, it doesn't matter at all because 0 into something is 0 only. So LHD is also 0 and RHD is also 0. So since LHD is coming out to be equal to RHD, that's why we can say that uh, the derivative of function exists at x equal to 0. So fx is, अगर fx differentiable है तो फिर वो continuous तो अपने आप होगा, because this is a general rule of LCD, limit continuity and differentiability, that if a function is differentiable at some point, then it would be definitely continuous at that point. Because differentiability तभी आती है अगर मेरा function continuous होगा. अगर मेरा function continuous नहीं है, then it can't be differentiable at that point. So my function is continuous and f dash is not continuous. Okay, and but not differentiable, इसलिए वाला भी गलत हो गया because this is differentiable also. So A part is the correct option. Moving on to next one. If limit of x tending to 0, alpha e power x plus beta e power minus x plus gamma sin x upon x sin square x is equal to 2 by 3. This expression is given to me where alpha, beta and gamma belong to real numbers. Then which of the following is not correct? Basically मेरे को अल्फा बीटा और गामा की वैल्यूज निकाल के इस एक्सप्रेशन को चेक करना है बेसिकली. तो कैसे करेंगे? अगेन सबसे पहले तो मेरे को दिख रहा है कि जब मैं डिनोमिनेटर में 0 डालूंगा तो आई एम गेटिंग डिनोमिनेटर इक्वल टू 0. तो अगर लिमिट को 2/3 की इक्वेट करना है तो ऑब्वियसली बात है न्यूमरेटर को भी 0 होना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज 0/0 फॉर्म को मैं सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ बाय यूजिंग एल हॉपिटल थ्योरम. सो फॉर दैट थिंग आई नीड दैट माय न्यूमरेटर शुड आल्सो बी इक्वल टू 0. but e power 0 is 1, e power minus 0 is also 1. So alpha plus beta plus 0 should be equal to 0 implies alpha plus beta is equal to 0. मतलब ये ऐसा बनेगा ना, अगर मैं इस एक्सप्रेशन में 0 डाल दूंगा तो आई विल बी गेटिंग समथिंग लाइक अल्फा प्लस बीटा प्लस 0 upon 0. And I know that to make this form indeterminate, so that I can solve it using L'Hopital theorem, I need to take alpha plus beta equal to 0. So I got one equation for alpha and beta, that is alpha is equal to minus times beta. Okay, so this was my first thing. Then now I can apply my LH rule, L'Hopital rule. So now you can differentiate this thing. So you will be getting alpha e power x plus minus beta e power minus x, because e power minus x differentiation would be minus times e power minus x plus sin का हो जाएगा cos plus gamma times cos x upon यहाँ पे भी मैं x sin square x का करूंगा differentiation, then I would be getting differentiation of x sin square x, क्या होगा ये, x का differentiation 1 ही होगा, so it would be equal to sin square x plus 2x sin x into sin x का differentiation cos x. सो ये चीज मुझे मिलेगी डिनोमिनेटर में जब मैं इसको एक्स साइन स्क्वायर एक्स को डिफरेंशिएट करूंगा यहाँ से. Then again when I will put equal to 0, then I am again getting value equal to 0. So let me firstly take sin x common. You will get sin x plus 2x cos x. Okay. Then again when you are seeing this thing, when you will put 0 in denominator, this thing is 0 and this thing will also be equal to 0 because cos 0 is 1, this thing is 0. So again you are getting 0 upon 0 form. So again you need your numerator to be equal to 0. This thing is not 3x4, this thing is wrong. This thing would be equal to this expression. So again you need your numerator to become 0 because denominator is now also 0, and for again applying LH rule, you need to make it in determinate form. So for that you should convert your numerator to be equal to 0. So when you will put the values, you will get alpha minus beta plus gamma equal to 0. So this thing is my second expression, because e power 0 is 1, e power minus 0 is 1, and cos 0 is 1. That's why. So alpha equal to minus beta and gamma equal to alpha minus beta. Beta minus alpha, sorry. Beta minus alpha. Now put value of beta. So gamma equal to minus 2 alpha. Okay. Now differentiate it once again. So on differentiating it once again in the denominator you will be getting 2 sin x cos x, 2 sin x cos x प्लस इसका जब मैं करूंगा डिफरेंशिएशन, तो जिन दोनों टर्म्स में x आएंगे वो टर्म्स तो जीरो हो जाएंगे, और जिस टर्म में x नहीं आएगा उस टर्म में sin x आएगा. बेसिकली जब मैं cos को डिफरेंशिएट करूंगा तो उसमें sin आएगा, जब मैं x को बाकी दो टर्म्स में x होगा बेसिकली, तो तीनों टर्म मेरे जीरो हो जाएंगे. तो यहाँ पे जो भी आएगा वो जीरो के बराबर होगा जब मैं वहाँ पे x इक्वल टू जीरो डालूंगा, और ये भी जीरो है बेसिकली. तो अगेन आई एम गेटिंग समथिंग अपॉन जीरो इन डिनोमिनेटर. सो वापस वही चीज न्यूमरेटर को मेरे को वापस जीरो बनाना पड़ेगा. तो अब मैं इसको वापस डिफरेंशिएट करूंगा. डिफरेंशिएट करने पे अल्फा ई पावर एक्स माइनस की जगह प्लस हो जाएगा, प्लस बीटा ई पावर माइनस एक्स माइनस गामा साइन एक्स. अब मैं जब इसमें जीरो डालूंगा, देन आई विल बी गेटिंग अल्फा प्लस बीटा. अल्फा प्लस बीटा इक्वल टू जीरो अगेन. ओके, सो अल्फा इज इक्वल टू माइनस बीटा वो मेरे को पहले ही मिल गया था, सो आई डोंट नीड दिस एक्सप्रेशन नाउ. ओके, सो नाउ यू कैन चेक योर आंसर. Mm-hmm. You know that the expansion of sin x, sin x the expansion is equal to x minus x cube upon 3 factorial plus x power 5 upon 5 factorial. Okay, but you don't need this upper terms, so you can neglect these terms and multiply it by sine square x. So basically, this would become square. So on squaring this thing, this would reach x power 6. So you don't need x power 6 because x is tending to 0, so x power 6 will definitely tend to 0. So you can just take x square and then you need to multiply your x square with x. So you will be getting x cube. From there, they are converting this x sine square x equal into x cube. And then when they're differentiating x cube, they are getting it equal to 3x square. And then on differentiating 3x square, this thing is equal to 6x. Okay. So now again differentiating this thing, you will get alpha plus beta minus gamma upon 6 equal to 2 by 3. Why so? Because if I will take these expressions and then evaluate further, then I just saw now that I am getting again the same expression alpha equal to minus beta. But that thing is the one equation which I got earlier also. So this will not help me further. That's why I am uh, simplifying x sine square x into x cube. How? By using the expansion of sin x, I converted sin x into x minus x cube by 3 factorial. And then on squaring this term, I am getting x power 6. And since x is tending to 0, then it is for sure that x power 6 will also tend to 0 and even faster than x. So I can neglect this term. So what would be left is only x square and 1x is outside also. From there I got my x cube. On differentiating x cube, this thing is equal to 3x square, and on simultaneously differentiating both the terms, my final expression is this one. So I got these two expressions, and my third expression is alpha minus beta plus gamma equal to 4. So this was my third expression. So from these three expressions, I can calculate the value of alpha, beta, and gamma. Put the value alpha minus beta is again equal to alpha, and gamma is equal to minus 2 alpha. So minus 2 alpha. Alpha minus beta plus gamma equal to 4. But oh, alpha equal to minus beta ना, so minus beta अल्फा ठीक तो है, फिर यहाँ से 2 अल्फा आएगा और फिर when I will put in this equation, hmm, so one thing is missing here. Okay, so now let me take the pen. So you got three equations. One is alpha plus beta equal to 0. Second is alpha minus beta plus gamma equal to 0. And third is here it would be minus sign because here it would be minus. That's why we were getting wrong answer. So alpha minus beta minus gamma equal to 4. So these are the three equations, three variables. You can solve for alpha, beta, and gamma, and you can get the value of alpha as 1, beta as minus 1, and gamma as minus 2. So these are the three values for your equations. Since you got the value of alpha, beta, and gamma, then you can simply put them in the given equation and on putting them, you will get your final answer as -2. So the correct part is you can check from here only. So alpha beta square plus beta gamma square plus gamma alpha square, this would be equal to 0 from the given values of alpha beta and gamma. So these are the three expressions which you need to evaluate. Just evaluate the given limit by using L'Hopital rule. You will get the values of alpha, beta, and gamma, and from there you can check for your answer. Okay. So I think we are done for this session, and practice these questions to get a good hold on the chapter limits. The rest questions we will be doing in our next session. So thank you.